following video is not made for kids. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello to my subscribers, this is the TFangy coming to you with a video review of one of the most, well, for lack of better grammar, this is one of the more average or mediocre Transformers figures to be released in the Legacy line. And it's right up there with Leader Class Galvatron because it is Transformers Legacy Voyager Class Soundwave. Now, the reason why I'm saying that this is considered one of the lackluster figures of the Legacy line is because this Legacy Soundwave is basically, it's a re-release of the 2019 War for Cybertron Trilogy Siege Voyager class Soundwave figure that was released in 2019, but with a catch. Unlike Siege Soundwave, who was given these silver paint apps all over him showing battle damage from the war being ravaged on Cybertron between the Autobots and Decepticons. He's even got some silver here on the sides of his legs as well. Legacy Soundwave lacks all of the silver battle damage paint apps that are found on Siege Soundwave. So this is basically a clean-cut version of the Siege Soundwave figure released in 2019. And that technically means that, I believe at the time in 2019, Voyager-class Transformers still cost, I believe, $29.99 here in the United States. And now Voyager-class, so basically Voyager-class Transformers back in 2019 cost $30, and now in 2023, they're now costing close to $35 a piece. So, for Legacy Soundwave, if you find him at Walmart or Target, you're basically paying $5 more than what Siege Soundwave went for in 2019, and you have less paint apps applied. So, for many Transformers fans and collectors who have the Siege version of Soundwave, the Legacy Soundwave figure here was an easy pass, and I've seen many collectors give this figure a thumbs down. A lot of Transformers fans and collectors were hoping that Legacy Soundwave is going to be a re-release of the Netflix Earth Mode Soundwave figure that was released back in 2020. And everyone was disappointed when it was revealed that it was a re-release of the Siege Soundwave figure. For Transformers fans and collectors who missed out on Siege Soundwave, the Legacy Soundwave, it was a nice re-release for those who missed out on it. But for those who already have Siege Soundwave like I do, this figure is an easy pass for certain. So for those of you asking, why in the world did I get Legacy Soundwave when I had no need to buy? That's because a few weeks ago, before the year 2022 ended, it was just a few days after Christmas, or actually no, it was just a few days after Christmas. My family and I went to my local Macy's department store, and last year in 2022, Toys R Us returned to the United States as a toy department inside of Macy's stores. So that's where I found Soundwave, and the day I found him, Voyager class Transformers at my local Macy's Toys R Us were going for under $21. So to get Soundwave for less than $21, I felt it was worth it just for that price tag alone. That's the main reason I got the Legacy Armada Voyager class Starscream figure. If I hadn't found these figures selling for less than what they do at retail price at Walmart and Target, then I would have passed on Soundwave. So if you have each Soundwave, then pretty much all the Legacy Sound figure has going forward on the box is some nice box art. But then of course, right here at the back, and we look at the product photos, pretty much Legacy Soundwave, all this figure has going for it is that it lacks the battle damage paint apps that the Siege Soundwave figure had. It's the same thing with Legacy Galvatron. It lacks the battle damage paint apps that were found on the Kingdom release of Galvatron. But the fact that the price of Transformers figures was raised for the Legacy line, from a collector's standpoint, many Transformers fans and collectors have not welcomed Legacy Soundwave that well for costing $3 to $5 more for fewer paint apps than the first version of the figure. So that's pretty much all there is to say. The figure transforms from robot mode back and forth between the vehicle mode of a Cybertron spaceship in just 25 steps. As far as I know, unlike the Siege release of Soundwave, I'm trying to look through the openings right here, and no, unlike the Siege version of Soundwave, there's no hidden image on the box itself showing Soundwave's third mode of the lamppost, which was his Cybertronian vehicle mode in the G1 cartoon. And I'll look in the instruction sheets as soon as I get this out of the box to see if it mentions it. If it doesn't, I'll still transform it into the lamp post, or at least my version of the lamp post, just to show it off. So without further delay, let's get Legacy Soundwave out of his box and take a close look at him in robot mode. Alright, and here is Legacy Soundwave in his robot mode, and again, it's the exact same figure as the Siege one. The only difference is that all of these silver paint apps for the battle damage markings have been removed. So it's not really that impressive if you have the Siege version of Soundwave already. I will say there is one difference, though. I don't know if it's just no, it is. There is one slight difference. The shade of yellow plastic that's used on Siege Soundwave's light piping, it's a slightly brighter shade of yellow compared to what's used here on Legacy Soundwave. Here it's a very clear, bright yellow plastic used for Siege Soundwave's light piping. And here on the Legacy figure, it's a slightly darker, almost like an ember yellow plastic used for the light piping. But apart from that, pretty much everything else is the same. The paint apps are all the exact same. The parts that are blue, the parts that are gray. The stripe Ipes on the weapons and everything. I don't know if it's just because my copy of Siege Soundwave is because the paint is faded a bit, but on the red stripes on Legacy Soundwave's weapons, there are his laser gun and his shoulder cannon. The red stripes used at the ends, they're a slightly brighter shade of red compared to Siege Soundwave. But other than those two paint apps with the light pipe plastic and the red stripes on the guns, there's not much else difference between these two figures. Everything else is the exact same. Even the lights on the shins and the paint apps on the front legs are the exact same. The only difference is the Siege Soundwave has the silver damage on it. So for those of you who own Siege Soundwave and you've ever wanted this figure to see what it looks like without all of the gray battle damage markings on it, then that's what Legacy Soundwave is. So that's pretty much all there is to say. I won't cover articulation because I've already covered it with my review of Siege Soundwave and Netflix Soundwave, which I covered last year technically, so I won't go into articulation too much, but I will say that for the price that I paid him for, I don't regret getting Legacy Soundwave and adding him to my Transformers collection. I'm a huge Soundwave fan. I've always enjoyed Soundwave ever since I was introduced to the character back in the Transformers Cybertron cartoon show. Back in 2005, 2006 is when I was introduced to Soundwave in the Transformers franchise. So just putting his gray laser gun there in his chest, I've always figured that's the best storage for it. But yeah, there's it's got a Decepticon logo on his chest. And for those of you who weren't aware, Generation 1 Soundwave was the action figure that inspired the Decepticon faction logo. And once you can see that Soundwave's head was the inspiration for the Decepticon faction symbol, you can never unsee it. I know I could never unsee it once I learned that Soundwave was the character whose head sculpt was used for the Decepticon symbol. So that was pretty much all there is to say. So without further delay, I'll actually transform Soundwave into lamppost mode first, since it's the quickest, going from robot mode, and we'll see how that looks. Alright, and so here is my own rendition of Soundwave in his lamppost mode. I'm looking at the instruction sheet right now, and there is no mention of the official lamppost mode that was used in the Siege Soundwave figure. Now, looking back, I just remembered Siege Soundwave. The lamppost mode wasn't actually shown in the instruction sheets. It was just an image on one of the inside flaps of the box. So the lamppost mode was almost like a secret mode that Hasbro and Takara Tomy, they basically said you can transform Soundwave into this mode, but it's not an official one. It's just one that we haphazardly created at the last minute. So here is like Siege Soundwave in the lamppost mode as well. There's no battle damage markings on this side of Siege Soundwave's legs, so in lamppost mode, they look almost identical to each other. On the official lamppost mode, Soundwave's arms are flipped around, then folded on the back of him, and his legs are untransformed from robot mode. They're just pushed into you, they're closer. But in the G1 cartoon, this is what Soundwave's lamppost mode looked like. His arms were folded out to the side, and I don't know if Generation 1 Soundwave was capable of holding his arms out to the side like this or not. I don't believe so. And those of you with a keen eye will have noticed that these shoulder guns on Siege Soundwave, they aren't pulled back down like they are on Legacy Soundwave, and that's because I have an upgrade kit that allows Siege Soundwave to transform into a cassette player mode. Part of the upgrade kit, which was some arm covers to hide his fists. Yes, I put those parts of the upgrade kit on my copy of Netflix Soundwave, and I might just take the shoulder piece upgrades. I just might take these shoulder upgrade kits here off of Siege Soundwave and use them here on Legacy Soundwave to allow him to transform into the fan-made boombox mode. So let's get to Spaceship Mode next. Alright, so here is Legacy Soundwave transformed into Spaceship Mode, and I have never really been too much of a fan of the Spaceship Mode. I much rather prefer Lamppost Mode over this. Is simply because the Lamppost Mode surprisingly looks a lot easier to transform, and it's a much more, because it's a more G1 accurate version of Soundwave. The Spaceship Mode almost feels like an afterthought, and the Lamppost Mode to me has always felt like the official alt mode. Never really been a fan of how the robot mode arms just sit down here and act like the landing gear for this mode. So I didn't transform Siege Soundwave into the Spaceship Mode just because last time I did, it felt like I was going to break something, and even here on the Legacy figure, it's the same. This is the official transformation where you join the robot mode arms here on these wrist cannons that form part of the landing gear. But for some reason, the arms, they're not wanting to clip in place properly, and they keep wanting to flail out to the sides. So you can see right there, just transforming it back, they've already separated, and I don't know what's causing it, but I don't know how well you can tell, but if you look right here, just setting one of the arms off to the side, when one arm sits straight, it doesn't sit center, it sits over the center line of the space it's supposed to occupy. So for some reason, Soundwave's arms don't want to stay transformed into the official configuration, so you can rotate the arms if you want and have them facing the opposite direction from what they're officially supposed to be facing, but basically, yeah, the Spaceship Mode's my least favorite mode, so but for a special size comparison, I apologize for not bringing this figure out when I had a Legacy Soundwave and Robot Mode, but here he is next to the Netflix version of Soundwave. So here are the two alternate modes from the Cybertron Alt Mode version of Soundwave and the Earth Mode version of Soundwave. So having the Robot Mode legs form the boxy-shaped nose cone of the Jet Mode, it's a very subtle way of Hasbro and Takara Tomy saying that Soundwave has always had a boxy type alt mode. So yeah, this is probably gonna be the last time I transform this thing into a Spaceship Mode. But without further delay, there is technically one more mode that we can get that I can show off for you guys. So let's get Soundwave transformed and see what that mode looks like. Alright, and so here is the final mode, and as you probably guessed since I brought out Netflix Soundwave, it is the boombox mode. So without any upgrade kits, it's just folding him in place. This is what Legacy Soundwave and Siege Soundwave look like, transformed into the boombox mode. The main reason why it looks this way is because there's nothing for the row mode arms. The hinge joint, it doesn't fold back and around. It folds downward, to transform into the Spaceship Mode, and so there's nothing to align the legs up with the Robot Mode chest to form a proper box-shaped cassette player. There, I apologize for calling it a boombox throughout the review so far. So this is the main reason why I got these upgrade kits of these shoulder extensions here on the Siege Soundwave, so that you can slide the arms backward and allow the legs to sit more flush with the Robot Mode chest, and you create a cassette player shape that is much similar to what Hasbro and Takara Tomy finally did with the Netflix Soundwave figure here. So, I've always wanted to see the Siege Soundwave mold in a nice clean-cut shape, but I was hesitant on getting Legacy Soundwave for the price of him, and so, again, as I said at the beginning of the review, I found him for under $21 at my local Macy's Toys R Us store, so I will take the upgrade kit off of Siege Soundwave and put it on Legacy Soundwave. Now, just so I can have a nice clean-cut version of the Siege Soundwave mold transform into a boombox. These shoulder upgrade kits, they were made by Shockwave Lab. And they're 3D printed, so if it doesn't feel like solid plastic, that's because technically it isn't. It's 3D printed plastic, so first time sliding the arms back and forth, it's a little difficult since they're not intended to slide down. But after you do it a couple of tries, as the plastic slowly adjusts to the friction of sliding back and forth. So, get back there and click in place. Alright, and so with those upgraded shoulder sliding pieces attached, here is Legacy Soundwave transformed into the more boxy shaped boombox mode. I've been contemplating about getting whether or not if I'd one day get another copy of this upgrade kit to use on my Siege Sound Blaster figure. I'm kind of Soundwaved out. Kind of feel as though I've gotten my share of Soundwave action figures for now. Since I got Legacy Soundwave, and I also got Shattered Glass Soundwave last month during December of 2022 to finish off the previous year. But yeah, the War for Cybertron Trilogy the Siege Soundwave mold, it's now been used at least 5 different times. Siege Soundwave was the first version, then Siege Sound Blaster, Netflix Soundwave, Shattered Glass Soundwave, and Legacy Soundwave. Of those 5 versions of the mold that were released by Hasbro, I just counted up, and I do have all 5 versions. There is another boombox mode you can transform the Siege Soundwave mold into, but it's not that interesting looking. It doesn't look as much like a Generation 1 Soundwave's boombox mode. But yeah, overall, I was grateful that I was able to get the upgrade kit here on the Legacy Soundwave, so I can now joke that I have a nice clean-cut, in-cut, freshly painted version of Siege Soundwave in my Transformers collection. Here's one size comparison with Netflix Soundwave. So for my final thoughts on Legacy Soundwave, for the proverbial question, do I recommend getting this figure? I only recommend you get this figure if you missed out on the Siege version of Soundwave. If you have Siege Soundwave, then the Legacy Soundwave figure is an easy pass. If you're a big fan of Soundwave, your brain might trick yourself into thinking that the figure is absolutely necessary to have. But for me personally, since I got this figure again for less than $21 US currency. That was what motivated me to get this figure. Had I found it at retail, then I would have passed on it. On that note, I actually saw Legacy Soundwave at my local Target store selling for close to $35 on multiple occasions, and I passed on the figure every single time. Because I felt $35 US currency wasn't enough to justify a re-release of Siege Soundwave with fewer paint apps, with all the battle damage silver paint removed, and him selling for close to $5 more than what this version sold for back in 2019. So I only recommend you get this figure if you do not have the Siege Soundwave figure, and if you find it on clearance. But if you find it at retail price, and you have the Siege version of Soundwave already in your collection, then this figure is an easy pass, because all it has going for it is visually looking like a freshly painted version of Siege Soundwave without the battle damage marks on it. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is to say. The only real difference I could see in the figure was the light piping used on the robot mode head was a slightly darker shade of yellow on Legacy Soundwave compared to Siege Soundwave. And visually, that's all this figure has going for. Or it is a cleaner paint job than the Siege Soundwave figure. So if that's all it has going for it, then in my opinion, it is an easy pass. Thank you guys all so much for watching. This has been the TFN Geek, and until next time, you guys, stay safe, stay healthy. I've got more reviews coming. Bear in mind with me while I try and get them out. And until next time, you guys, transform and roll out. Goodbye, everyone.